It is recording.
Porter, leave the door shut.
Ears!
Oh, my God.
Do you just want to follow the smoke?
You guys okay?
I felt that through the ground.
I felt it behind the car.
Alright, I'm gonna finish off the last of this mag.
This is the...
You want to try? Welcome to another session of Caution Under Fire. Glad you could be here. Just going to do another rant and rave, kind of like the one prior to this video. First and foremost, wanted to thank everybody for your support yesterday. That was January the 19th. Anybody who went to your state capitol and rallied in favor for the Second Amendment, good on you.
I have a sense of humility to call voting. Because when I look at and I look out across these great Americans, all races, male, female, from all walks of life, I see.
I did the same thing. We had a really great turnout. When I was there were about 2,000 people. I left after about an hour because it got cold and whatnot. But apparently there was about a 3,000 person turnout, so that's really good. We only got local coverage. I looked on CNN and a few other places, MSN, and I didn't see any articles. Hopefully some national coverage did happen, but I unfortunately doubt it. But anyway, really great stuff happened. Some really great speeches. Anybody who is fighting for your Second Amendment rights, be sure to write your senator and your congressman. I'll post some more links in this video. I have them in a previous video too. That's my Second Amendment rant and rave. Be sure to write your congressman and senator. Let them know where you stand and that you are definitely in support of your Second Amendment rights. Saw some great banners, some great posters out there. There were a couple that I really liked, and so I actually have some of my own. I'm just going to read them to you. One of them was from George Washington, and I cite our founding fathers for a specific reason. They're the individuals who actually signed the amendment, the amendments, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all those things that make America great. They knew what they were doing. If you're not a Christian, I'm sorry to say it, but I think they were inspired by God. If you're not a Christian of any sort or don't believe in God, you got to still admit they were inspired. Either way, they definitely knew what they were doing and where they were coming from. One of the ones that I found was from George Washington. It says, "Firearms stand next in importance to the Constitution itself." Another one from him was, "To ensure peace, security, and happiness, the rifle and pistol are equally indispensable." Obviously true. And then another one was from the co-founder of the Second Amendment, George Mason. He said, "To disarm the people is the best and most effectual way to enslave them." You know, we know that in World War II, the Japanese didn't invade our country because, and this is a rough quote, there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. The purpose of our Second Amendment rights is to be able to secure and defend our homes, our families, our possessions, our lives, and the very liberty that we uphold. And any government that tries to take that away, you have to worry what their reasoning is. I'm not a conspiracy nut. I think that a lot of people just don't get it, and the problem is there's ignorance and arrogance, and we need those people who are ignorant to be educated, and those people who are arrogant humbled. But good luck with that. As best we can, we'll do what we can. But one of the speakers at the rally, she said, you know, the whole purpose of the Second Amendment was not to give us the right to hunt, as a lot of politicians right now are saying, well, there's no need for semi-automatic sporting rifles, that you can't hunt with them, there's no real purpose, there's no functional purpose. But in fact, it was actually to grant us the opportunity to defend ourselves against enemies, foreign and domestic. Our forefathers, having come out of a very tyrannical scenario, understood that the ability to defend ourselves, to be armed, was a necessity to keep and maintain our freedoms. Moreover, those individuals, they knew that the possibility of our country getting too big for its britches, our government forgetting that they work for the people, was definitely a possibility. So they want us to have the ability to defend ourselves. I am in no way saying that we're at the point where we need to uprise against the government. That's not at all what I'm implying. But the point and the purpose is that we have that ability in case our government ever tries to essentially enslave us. And that was kind of what our founding fathers felt and were fighting against. There was another banner that I saw at the rally that I really enjoyed, which was muskets were assault rifles. Essentially, the whole premise of our rights to bear arms and maintain them is that we need to have firearms that are similar or akin to what the military has, in case the government ever sends the military in after us. Or, and this is the one that I lean more towards, in case we are ever invaded by a foreign military, in which case then we need the ability to defend ourselves. I would much rather fear an external force than my government, but who knows how that's going to end up. But yeah, it was really quite an impressive display. Lots of people showed up armed. Nobody got shot. That was, kind of goes against the grain, apparently, from what everybody else is saying. Millions of firearm owners didn't hurt anybody yesterday. So the responsible ones are the ones that matter. And I'm going to touch on something else in just a second here, but that's just it. Is you got to remember the majority of firearm owners are responsible. There's no reason to take away ammo, to take away firearms of any type. Our firearm industry supplies something like 180,000 jobs, and if you were to remove just one line of firearms from that, you will lose thousands of jobs. Also, and in the U.S. right now, jobs are so easy to find. Additionally, it boosts our economy, the ability to sell and create business. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. The whole premise is just, it's unthinkable that our government is saying, oh, well, this is something that needs to be taken care of or gotten rid of, and it doesn't make any sense. Additionally, it's not like our economy is doing that great either. But, moving back, the laws themselves are only going to be abided by the law-abiding citizens, who in their very nature are not the enemies. We're not the ones who are killing anybody or doing things inappropriately. Admittedly, we get a couple of retards who hurt people on accident, but people get hurt all the time by accident, by other means. And I appreciate the fact that our government thinks that they should child-proof the world. Anything dangerous needs to be taken away. So by that standard, let's take away cars, let's take away power tools, let's make sure that the roads are all rubberized so that people don't fall and hurt themselves. The world in itself is not a safe place. And to try to make it safer by taking away firearms, it's illogical. It's like another sign I saw at the rally where somebody said diabetes is caused by spoons. Because spoons obviously feed you. That's the cause for people getting diabetes, or fat even, or whatever the case may be. Point is, it's a very long stretch for some kind of a logical scenario. But yeah, passing these laws, disarming the people, will not have an effect on violent crimes. You take away the rifles, those criminals out there, or those who are seeking to do harm, will find other methods, whether it be bombs or handguns, which then, of course, the government will say, well, we need to keep pushing this because there's still problems. It won't go away. Recently, in the news, about 2 or 3 days ago, a gentleman went into a J.C. Penney with a AR-15 across his back to elicit effect. Did he break any laws? No. Was he in the wrong? That's up to a personal decision. I don't think there was a need for that. But he did elicit a little bit of a panic for some people. He wasn't arrested. Even the management knew him. They said, oh, he does this all the time. So they didn't even ask him to leave. But a lot of people became very nervous. And in recent situations, I can understand that. But hear me out. I'm not saying anything negative, but you got to understand, since firearms were created, people carried them with them. Main reasons, and probably one of the ones that we forget, is we are still part of the food chain. But because we have civilized certain parts of the world and removed that animal kingdom from it, we don't have to worry about a bear getting a hold of us and eating us, or a cougar, or whatever. But occasionally, that still happens. When food becomes scarce in the mountains and animals come down looking for food, people become part of the food chain again. Being armed is a necessity, and that was one of the main reasons why people, even in the Wild West and beyond, carried weapons. Cavemen carried weapons, spears and clubs, for similar reasons. The second reason why people carried firearms was because bad people have always existed, and the ability to defend yourselves against those bad people was always force on force. So the best way to defend or to defeat a bad guy with a gun is with a good guy with a gun. But because of our social situation, we no longer carry firearms, at least not the rifles as much. And so is it wrong to carry one into a department store? That's not my call. The only issue that I had with that particular situation is right now there's a major fire burning, and there's heat coming from both sides, and this individual decided to throw gas on it. Please think responsibly, act responsibly. Don't try and make a statement that's so outlandish that you could end up inciting more trouble, because that's not what we're looking to do. And if you don't like my opinion, that's fine. That's entirely up to you. I do not think that he was in the wrong, per se, and I don't think that he... I know he didn't break any laws. In the state he was in, it was an open carry state. He can carry whatever he wants. But I think that there's a time and a place. And if you really want to make him a statement right now, and I appreciate the fact that since semi-automatic rifles are what are currently being attacked, he's carrying it on his back, making that statement. I'm making my statement in a more subtle way. I don't leave my house without a firearm on my hip. And sometimes I carry it in the open, sometimes I don't, because it's a little bit more socially acceptable, since we're no longer as concerned about being part of the food chain right now and carrying a rifle to defend ourselves. Admittedly, rifles are more effective than handguns. Obviously, that's why our military uses them. But in most scenarios, you're looking at self-defense against another human being, and a handgun would be more than sufficient. Well, let me rephrase that. A handgun grants easier use to carry, and it's a little bit more socially acceptable. So, right or wrong, I don't necessarily agree with how he did it. There was nothing particularly illegal, but like I said, I think he was inciting some inappropriate responses right now in the current political climate. Anyway, so for those of you who have written your senators, your congressmen, thank you. Keep it up. Like I said, I'll include some links in this video. Continue to support the NRA. Continue to support gun rights. Continue to watch the news. Keep yourself apprised of what's going on. Thanks for anybody who went ahead and rallied around your capitals yesterday on Saturday. We appreciate it, and we definitely look forward to the support. Remember, our founding fathers bled and died and killed for these rights. And in good conscience, we cannot let them go, period. Not let them go under certain circumstances. No, we can't let them go. That's as bad as saying, well, there's no need for the freedom of speech. Let's go ahead and bring slavery back. I mean, those are extremes, obviously, but we understand that those are not right. And to assume or to allow firearms to be taken away, likewise, that is not right. So, thanks for watching. I'll be doing another review here sooner than later. Sorry it's been a while. And keep up the good work, America.